Okay. So, Joel, first of all, welcome. Thank you very much for being on our show,
My
and we appreciate
pleasure.
you being here. Uh, can you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Absolutely. So I call myself a prosperity coach. So I teach people how to change their money mindset from thoughts like, I can't afford that. Money doesn't grow on trees. That's too expensive. At least that's how I grew up. And I think most people who are watching and listening probably grew up that way too. I even had my dad scream at me if I left my room with the light on. Joel, we're not a shareholder of Long Island Lighting Company. Shut that light off. So, yes, I was brought up in a scarcity household, which is probably most of the world.
Hmm.
And I teach my clients the opposite. I teach them abundance and prosperity and how we were born to thrive, not survive. And we go through different affirmations, audio files, different visualization and acting as if techniques in order to shift that programming that they were programmed growing up. I also teach money manifestation techniques. I have 9 specific techniques that I teach my clients. And then I am a former hedge fund manager. I shut down my hedge fund in 2016 to coach. And so I also teach investing techniques. In this book, The 9 Money Rules Millionaires Use, I have a 5-step proprietary stock screen. I have a 7-step real estate screen as well. And what's been interesting the first 5 years that I was coaching, a lot of spiritual entrepreneurs came to me and asked me to help them with their business. So I've also been business coaching these spiritual entrepreneurs. And what I mean by spiritual entrepreneurs are people like Reiki masters, life coaches, mindset coaches, yoga teachers, meditation teachers, energy healers. Those kinds of people are good candidates for my one-on-one coaching or my membership.
So, in doing this, why do you do this? Like, what made you stop the hedge fund and make you want to do this?
Great question, Eric. So, yes, if you had asked me back in 2013, 14, 15, when I was managing my hedge fund, if you were going to be doing this the rest of your life, I would have said yes. And in December of 2015, I went to a personal development course, and 2 things happened there that completely changed my life. One was we had a guest speaker speaking for 1 hour. This was a 3-day course. We had a guest speaker speaking for 1 hour. And when he started speaking about stock options in particular, he made it sound easy. He said, you don't need much time, you don't need much money. This is how the rich people get rich, and options are essentially risk-free. And I was sick to my stomach. I had people tapping me on the shoulder, whispering me, Joel, does this make sense? Are options really riskless? And after he was done, we went out of the auditorium. There were 200 people there. And actually, 50 ran to the back of the room to sign up for his course. He made $50,000 in an hour. And we went out of the auditorium. I said, please don't do this. He has no idea about any of you individually. He doesn't know your earnings or tax status or risk tolerance or cash flow. And most importantly, he doesn't know your belief that you can become rich using options. The second thing that happened at that course was we were given a wooden board 2 inches thick, and we were told we are going to break it with our bare hand. I don't know if you've done this, Eric, but there was a lot of fear in the room. The exercise was called Obstacles Are Illusions. And on one side of the wooden board, we had to write our biggest obstacle, and on the other side, our ultimate goal, which stumped me for a while. And then it finally hit me: make everyone in this room financially free. Make everyone in this room financially free. And then I broke the board like everyone else did in the room that day. Went home that night and I couldn't sleep. First, the guy was in my head. And I realized if I could ever get up the courage to speak on a stage in front of 200 people, see, my biggest fear that day was public speaking. I could tell people the truth about money, be of service, not lie to them. And the second thing that was going on in my head at 3:34 in the morning was that wooden board staring back at me from across my bedroom, make everyone in this room financially free. And I think it hit me at 4:30. I jumped out of bed. I quickly got dressed. I was at my office in Midtown Manhattan before the sun rose. And I sent an email to my investors telling them I'm giving them their money back. I'm shutting down my fund. I figured out my true purpose in life.
Wow. So the idea of you actually just jumping up, running right to it, and it just you felt super inspired at that moment in time, like that's crazy.
Yeah,
For-
I figured out this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and nothing was gonna stop me from focusing and getting to my purpose. And of course, my CFO and my lawyer weren't too happy with that method of shutting down a hedge fund. You can't actually shut down a hedge fund that way.
Yeah.
And so it took many months. In fact, it took all of 2016 to shut down the fund. And I had all, once I had sold all the securities, I had moved on. There was accounting and striking the final net asset value and so on, which took most of the year. And closing legal entities took most of the year. But I had moved on once the securities were sold. And so I started coaching people just ad hoc without any particular programs like I have now, without a membership, without group coaching. I just kind of set up a meetup group and said, anybody want to learn about the truth about money? And people came and I gave them free group coaching to start. And then some of those people became one-on-one coaching clients ad hoc, at an hour at a time without really having any training. I just knew that I wanted to teach the truth about money and teach people about mindset, about money. So that's how it started.
So you mentioned going to the spiritual people, doing the people that do Reiki, yoga instructors. With these people, like I know a lot of these people, a lot of them seem to want to like give almost their services away and all. What is that? Where does that come from?
Great question. So I think a lot were programmed like I was programmed, right, with scarcity and lack thinking. And there are worthiness issues as well that go along with that I'm not worthy of massive wealth. And there's a lot of programming that we're taught growing up also that if you're a good person, you can't be rich. Like the good people, those dirty rich people, those crazy dirty rich people, and that's, you see it in movies, you see it in TV shows, even to this day. There's, just watch some of the TV shows or watch some movies, and you'll see rich people depicted as evil, mean. Robin Hood, taking from the rich and give to the poor is the appropriate thing to do. And it's assuming that the rich people got their money in appropriate ways. And I've met a lot of rich people as an investor. I invested in a lot of financial institutions and met with the chief executive officers and chief financial officers, chief investment officers of these companies who are making many millions of dollars. And they are among the most kindest, most generous people I've met in my life. And so this programming is the reason why a lot of these quote unquote spiritual entrepreneurs are giving away their services or charging way too little. And so one of the things I have them do is increase their prices and do affirmations around that. For example, I had one client last year who I helped triple her revenues during the 3 months she worked with me because she was charging too little and she wasn't focused on a particular one or two products. She was just, had all these different services that she was providing. And I say where focus goes, energy flows. And so if you have your focus dispersed, energy is dispersed and you can't compound that energy. So having one or two products or services to start with at least is a very good way to start a business. And then also charge an appropriate amount. And that's not easy to do for this particular woman, she was charging $1,000 a month for 4 sessions of coaching.
Mhm.
And I had her increase that to $1,666 a month, or $5,000 for 3 months. And so she increased their prices basically 66%, and people were coming in, like, they weren't stopped. She wasn't, that price was not a price that was limiting the number of clients that she was getting. And I tell a lot of my clients, their clients are paying for their dreams, and their dreams are priceless. So how do you quantify that? The value you're providing is way more than the investment in your programs generally. I mean, if you're healing people from disease, and this is allowing them to have a valuable life, like, what's that worth? I mean, that's priceless, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure you're doing the same sort of thing, Eric, and you're probably not charging appropriate prices. I bet, I'm guessing, because, like, you know, think about the value that you're providing. And
Mhm.
if you look at it from that point of view, I have the same problem. I'll be completely open with you. My Money Miracles membership members have manifested $1,948,000 as of today.
Wow.
1,948,000. So on average, $60,000 a person.
Dang.
Should I be charging 30,000, 45, 20? You know, my prices are nowhere near that.
Mhm.
Right? So it's a few $1,000s. So they're getting like 12 to 15 times their investment. Like, if you told me I'm going to invest in a stock and I'm going to get 12 to 15 times, I do that all day, every day. If
Sure.
I invested in real estate and I know I'm going to get 12 to 15 times my investment, I do that all day, every day. So I'm also having this issue where, okay, what's the right price for my services?
Mhm.
But I've been increasing them each year as I see more and more value from the clients that are going through the programs. I had one client who generated $2 million in the stock market.
Wow.
Like, what's the value? You know, I didn't charge him any millions, right? Any hundreds of thousands, right? Right. So it's like, okay, so what's that worth?
Right.
And I had one member of my Money Miracles membership, one member in my Money Miracles membership, who manifested $322,000.
Wow.
So I have the same issues, but
Mhm.
I've been increasing the investment in my programs each year, and I suggest doing the same with my spiritual entrepreneurs. So that's, and it's not easy. You know, it's not easy to get to with a service. What is the right investment? Because, you know, look at doctors who are healing, right? Quote unquote healing. They're doing surgeries. They're not really healing. They're fixing a symptom of the problem, but not the problem,
Right.
generally. So, but, you know, there are times when they are fixing the problem, and they get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars. And generally the people I work with are not making hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Right. Even though they're doing great things.
And
As
they're doing this, yeah, they're doing great things. They're doing things that are I think are priceless.
so, what is it about this that causes you to, even though you say you're dealing with your own issue with it too at times and all that, does what is it that you love about this? Because that's got to be some, tough at times when you're thinking maybe I should be doing this or that, like doing a little more.
For me, it's when the light bulb goes off with the one-on-one coaching client, or in my membership, uh, they a client figures out that they've been sabotaging themselves, because I believe you create your own life. And so, you know, stop blaming it on the economy or the government or your former husband or former wife. I mean, it's you that's created all this. I take full responsibility for all aspects of my life, my personal life, my professional life. I've been divorced twice. I take full responsibility for that. And so, so first is taking responsibility for it, and knowing that you create your life. And then once you do that, it's, you know, for me, when I see that people have shifted, they come in with this negative attitude, like, woe is me. And, you know, I actually literally was talking to a woman this week who said, Joel, I'm broke. And I said to her, well, do you think those words are serving you or sabotaging you? You have 50 to 75,000 thoughts a day, but you only say 5,000 to 10,000 words a day. So make them count. And by saying those words out loud, you're creating it. So how about saying, I'm getting better and better with money every day? Or soon I'm going to be worthy of massive wealth. Money comes easily and frequently. You know, saying things. Now, the other thing that I teach my clients is belief. Don't say things that you absolutely don't believe, because you're creating resistance.
Mhm.
Don't say, I am financially free, if you don't believe it and you're not there anywhere close, and you're calling BS on yourself. This is what's happening. Nothing's happening. So say, you know, soften it. I allow myself to become financially free. Maybe that's a 7 on the belief scale, where 10 is absolute faith and 1 is massive doubt. Say that instead. Because now it can work if you say, I am financially free 100 times a day, every day for the rest of your life. Yeah, you will probably get financially free. But
Mhm.
most people are not that disciplined. And so they'll stop saying it after a while, because they're looking at the physical reality and seeing it not to be true. So softening it until you're getting more and more confidence in what you're saying is important.
Mhm.
So that, you know, I love what I do, because I'm seeing change
Mhm.
in my clients, in my membership. And then I'm also seeing the manifestations, which are just like, if you had told me 7 years ago when I started this, that people will meet with you and in a few weeks or a few months and a few years, they'll be generating hundreds of thousands of dollars, I would have said, you're high. How is that going to happen? And it's been happening.
So I know for, as chiropractic patients, we will have people that they get on, they're doing great, they make the changes, and they're doing great for a while, and then they kind of creep back over time. Do you see that a lot with money mindset as well?
That's a great question, Eric. And I think with anything, you have to establish habits.
Hmm.
And so what I have my clients do is, okay, what are you doing in the morning already? You're drinking coffee, or are you meditating already? Then add these special individualized affirmations after your meditation, or while you're waiting for the coffee to brew, right? Add it to a routine that you're already doing. You're already brushing your teeth. Visualize while you're brushing your teeth, right? You're doing that every morning. So add it to something that you're already doing, and then it becomes ingrained habit. And so that's the way to ensure that they don't fall back on these practices that I have them do. And I say everything with grace and ease as well.
Hmm.
Like, don't be so hard on yourself. If, you know, I teach visualization, the proper way to do it. And if you start doing it and then you fall off, you miss a day or two, I say just give yourself a break and get back to it. It's fine. I will be visualizing and have monkey mind. I'll start thinking about my to-do list for the day. Oh, I got this podcast with Eric. I gotta prepare for it. While I am doing my visualization, where I'm supposed to be thinking about my dreams and desires, I'm
Right.
thinking about my podcast for the day. Okay, I'm like, okay, I'm done. I'll get to it tomorrow. Just move on. Right. So give yourself a break. Be everything with grace and ease. Don't be so. I think we're our own worst critic. So giving yourself a break and saying everything with grace and ease. I'll get to it tomorrow. If you miss a day, if you know you miss an A in affirmations or visualization, or you're acting as if practices, just get back to it the next day. And again, making it a habit as part of your daily routine, I think, is really important.
Think that's very sound advice, because I know when my patients make their exercises and stuff a habit, even if they give miss a day here or there, they're doing it. So what is one thing that you wish you could change about doing this type of work with people?
So for me, the belief is creating the belief that they have in themselves that they can make change, because a lot of people come to me who are really struggling. I give everybody 30 minutes free, by the way, Eric. So, you know, let you can put that in this podcast notes that I offer 30 minutes free, and you can put the link to my website, which is solomore.com. But having said that, a lot of people doubt themselves.
Hmm.
So they don't believe that the results that other people have gotten, they can get. And so I just gave a few examples of people who have generated significant amount of wealth working with me.
Yeah.
But people who just hear this, they still have doubt. So test it out, do 1 30-minute session and see how that goes. So so to answer your question, I wish that more people have faith in themselves,
Hmm.
doubt the doubt, because then they can achieve their dreams and believe in themselves, believe in this program because it's been massively successful. So for me, it's getting more people. I have a mission to help at least 100,000 people become financially free. I'm not there yet. And so I'd love for everyone who's watching and listening this to jump on a call with me, even for it's just 30 minutes, get some benefit from that and go from there. They can binge on my YouTube. I have over 700 free YouTube videos. They can go onto TikTok or Instagram, hundreds and hundreds of videos on both Instagram and TikTok. And so there's plenty also on my homepage on my website. So instead of binging on Netflix
Hmm.
or 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 Snapchat, you know, go to binge on, you know, some financial freedom videos,
Okay.
you know, and move to financial freedom. So that's what I would say is for me, what, you know, I'd want more of is to have more people believing in themselves, to take the leap of faith that this can work, because so many people are struggling out there. It hurts my heart to know that they have the power within them to change their life. And I'm just leading them, giving them some direction, but they can change their life when they believe in themselves.
I know a lot of people, some of the things that we have to do chiropractic wise, we have to like, hey, you need to change this or change this about your environment because that's affecting what you're doing. When we're talking mindset, how much is our environment, like the people around us, and how much can they either help us or hurt us?
Great question, Eric. So yes, I do think uh, there is energy that everyone generates,
Mhm.
and everyone's on a frequency, on a vibration. And so if in order to generate abundance and prosperity, you have to be vibrating at the frequency of abundance and prosperity, which is the same vibration as gratitude, appreciation, love, and passion and joy. It's up here. So if you're interacting with somebody whose frequency is down here in sadness and depression, you can't get there from here. If you're with them all the time, it's more likely than not, you're going to move down to their vibration. So be cognizant of that. And what I would say is if it's a family member that's not living with you, dart in, dart out. Dart in, dart out. You have to, you want to be appropriate, you want to see your family, but dart in, dart out. Limit the amount of time, because you'll know that your vibration and frequency and energy level is being lowered by those lower frequency people. And the same goes the opposite way. When you're I think people have a general sense. If they're interacting with somebody who's vibrating up here, like you want to spend more time with those people,
Right.
especially if you're just below them. If you're vibrating up here in hope or faith, but you're not up here in knowing, you know, you're close, you wanna hang out with them because they're high vibing. Their frequency's up here and their energy level's up here, and you wanna adjust, you wanna move up to them. So I do think the environment impacts, but you can choose. You create your life, and so you can choose who you're interacting with on a daily, weekly, monthly, annual basis. And look, if you're living with somebody who's vibrating way down there, you have to make a choice, right? Is this serving me or not? And if you can't help bring them up and you don't want to go down, you have to make a decision.
Very wise. I know I've been in that position, and you know, it's not easy. It's not easy making those choices, but in the long run, it does, you know, it changes you. And sometimes that's a little thing that you need to get there. So I can understand that.
Absolutely. It's important to be self-aware and to know what you're dealing with in your own life and with others. And so limiting the amount of interaction with those whose frequencies are quite low
Mhm.
is beneficial, and spending more time with those who are vibrating frequency energies way up here is beneficial for you. And knowing that and being cognizant of that, and when you enter a room, knowing where and just surveying the room and having a sense as to the different frequencies of people is being more self-aware.
I love that. When we go through any kind of like things in life, we learn a lot of lessons. And one of my favorite things to ask people of this podcast is, what is the greatest lesson you've learned doing this?
I think I mentioned it earlier. I think my greatest lesson is hashtag doubt the doubt.
Mm-hmm.
So don't have people tend to start doubting themselves, and then they start spiraling down. They have faith in the doubt. So have faith in the dream,
I've never heard of it that way, but that makes so much sense. Okay.
right?
Okay. Yeah.
Have faith in the dream, don't have faith in the doubt. So flip it. So say you're having a not so positive thought.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe you haven't been bringing in a lot of clients this week, and you start doubting your business, starting doubting yourself. So in my TEDx talk, How to Create Money Miracles, I mentioned this technique by Andy Dooley, and he's a good friend of mine. He says to use stop, cancel, clear, get the fear out of here. Stop, cancel, clear, get the fear out of here. Or you could use the other F word, I won't judge you.
Sometimes it's more effective.
Can be, it's fine. Use it. I won't judge.
Oh, that's great stuff. So, okay, you know, we're coming up towards a little bit towards the end here and all that. I want to make sure. So, can you tell us again where we can find everything for you?
Yes, thank you, Eric. So my company name is salaurmore.com. So my company name is named after my daughters, L-A-U-R for Lauren, M-O-R for Morgan.com. So you can find links to the free 30 minutes of free coaching there, which I give everyone in the world. If you haven't done it yet, please find the link and sign on my calendar for that. On my YouTube, as I mentioned, YouTube, you can just search for Joel Solomon. There'll be over 730 videos there. Follow me on Instagram, hundreds and hundreds of videos there. Maybe not 700, but maybe 500 or 600. Same with TikTok. And so I'm posting quite often there, but I have a huge reservoir of videos that are available. So you can find me there. And yeah, so salaurmore.com is the company name.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Joel. I really appreciate it. This has been awesome. I know I'm actually going to go to your YouTube and watch some of those videos. You know, I look forward to actually seeing that because, like you said, that's a much better use of my time than, you know, watching a bunch of Netflix. Well, Joel, thank you very much for being on our podcast today, buddy. And, you know, guys, that's our story. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks so much, Eric.